Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillia, and thank you for joining me as we discuss episode 6 of the God of High School, the anime series. And no, honestly, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a very good episode as it stuck to its main focus. And that focus was showcasing off the members of the Six, as well as displaying how much of a threat the evil organization that we've been seeing throughout this series so far really is. It's revealed that the evil organization that we've seen, the ones wearing the robes and the group that stole Mira's sword, they're called Nox. And it's thanks to those members that it helped make this episode have that whoa impact. And I thought I'd just discuss my thoughts about this in this video. So first off, let's go to the tournament. The rules have slightly been altered, as the top 3 fighters from each preliminary stage gets to advance. And this basically means that the 3 fighters now have to form a team. And of course, this obviously brings it to the fact that the core 3 characters get to partake in the tournament stages, together. And to me, that's awesome, as I personally wasn't a big fan of the idea of Mori just continuing on his own, as they've kind of shown some level of connection and bonding between these 3 characters. This, of course, being Mira, Darwin, and Mori. So having the other 2 being left behind would be a tremendous waste, in my personal opinion. Because these 2 characters, Mira and Darwin, they may have lost, but they still have so much to show off and prove to us, the audience, as they develop and as they grow through the series. So, I really did enjoy that. This also leads to some character reflections, and it also teases us to how each character is going to be training / evolving throughout this 2-week break between when the preliminaries ended to when the main tournament finally starts. Plus, we also learned that the reason for the team format is simply because Mr. Park believes that out of all of the remaining fighters in the other kind of preliminaries, the key is present among them. And basically, he's under the mindset that if they push the holder of the key to their limit, then that would, in turn, make the key appear. And that's what he's after. He doesn't really care much about the competitors as long as he gets what he's looking for. So this reveals some kind of like shady alternative kind of motivation for Margin Park, because it shows that he has this ulterior motive that kind of goes a bit deeper than just kind of being a nice guy and presenting a tournament. We've already seen he has some like shady kind of dialogue whenever he's thinking and talking about Mori. He always hints that he knows more than he's letting on. And obviously with this key talk, this obviously backs that up. But they do kind of spoil things a little bit by focusing on 2 competitors in particular. And it's basically just the anime going, hey audience, look at these 2. These 2 are important. You want to watch out for them later on. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here, but because the images are probably like here or there. Oh well. But, I mean, I guess this was kind of obvious because one of them, the guy in the hoodies in the intro, and the other has been appearing throughout the series, in different places so far. We've seen him in flashbacks when we have Maso Gang's... Is it Gang? Yeah, he has his flashback and he's on the floor begging to someone. And we can tell from the silhouette that it's exactly the same person with the blue hair. And obviously, we have the present day thing, where the guy with the blue hair is like, so this is the candidates from the other series? What a joke. Or he says something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, they've already hinted at these 2 being important and these 2 being implemented into the story. So I guess it's not that big of a spoiler. But at the same time, they could have kind of made us a bit more kind of weighted in suspense a little bit, just to make it a bit more impactful when they finally reveal what happens later on. And the small confrontation between these 2 in this episode later on, it kind of states that yes, they have this mysterious borrowed power thing that we've seen from Q and we've seen from the guy that stole Mira's sword, because one's able to make this kind of form of teeth, almost like jaws, come from the ground, and the other one is able to kind of create fire. So as we move forward throughout the series, hopefully those skills get elaborated on and we get to learn more and more about them. Because obviously the characters are intriguing as well, but what they bring is also quite interesting. One thing I've really liked about the series is the characters have been pretty unique and cool so far, but their moves and their backstories, even what's his name? The guy in the tracksuit with the bat. Even he had an interesting backstory, which I might be getting confused between webtoon and anime, but did they reveal that his father owned the bat beforehand? And it's because his father was like a hero for justice and he wanted to learn and bring justice. I can't remember if they actually did that, but yeah, you get the point. With each character that they showed that are quite interesting and they build upon, each character brings their own unique style of fighting that I think is really cool and helps add to the uniqueness of the series. So then, let's move away from that and let's talk about the main three characters and their kind of training that they might go through in this sort of 2-week time gap. So first off, let's take a look at Mira. Mira is going to continue to refine her moonlight style swordsmanship, but possibly focus more on making better use of it in the way that she kind of moves and she kind of strikes. As the conversation with Sim that she has was hinting at the fact that if you only focus on strength, then once you face someone who is stronger than you, you end up breaking. So remain calm, relaxed, and focus, and strike when necessary. I really like this scene because it kind of shows a connection / bond building between these two characters, and it kind of made me think that maybe these two might become master and student in the near future, or at least for this 2-week time gap. But no, Nox appears, and honestly, when this character from Nox appears, I had kind of flashbacks from watching Darwin's game, where the main character got attacked by a guy in a bunny suit. This pretty much happens here now. Sim gets taken out, and it was really unfortunate as we just got to see his family. And knowing that his baby is going to have to grow up with his dad, without a dad, it's kind of sad. Plus, the baby looks so adorable in those glasses. Like, look at it. It's just adorable. The last thing about Mira, though, that I really did appreciate was her growth in understanding that she's not the strongest member of the team right now. So that's why she wants to improve, so she doesn't become a burden or a hindrance to Darwin and Mori. Now, to say that she's the weakest in terms of strength is kind of true. But to say that her skills and her abilities aren't useful is kind of an understatement. Because her abilities and her skills are in fact useful, and they are key to kind of, going forward. If someone is weak, they're going to be more determined and more kind of willing to prove everybody else wrong. And that's something, that fiery determination that Mira has, I hope is going to show through, and we get to see that very soon. That's something I'm hoping from Mira's character moving forward. So then Darwin. We don't get a lot of information about Darwin and how he's going to kind of implement this training to progress later on, but it's highly possible that he might go down the borrowed power route, as we get this conversation between himself and Marjun Park, and they both seem pretty interested in this borrowed power type of thing. Darwin is asking Park, like, what is this mysterious force that's going on? Like, obviously, he knows what Q used, he knows what the guy that stole Mira's sword used. So, Park has given him like, this kind of talk and this almost speech. And yeah, Darwin shows a lot of maturity in this scene. And he's still committed to kind of fighting after losing his friend, which was his sole purpose for kind of fighting in the first place. He wants to repay those who have helped him. And obviously he calls it like a debt that he has. So it shows a lot of maturity from that character. Now it could just be like a little bit too early. Like maybe they'll show it in the next episode. But I was under the impression that Darwin asked Q for advice before the events that happened here, instead of talking to Marjun Park. But I could be wrong. Maybe. But then, if he talks to Q after, and we see what the ending of this episode brings, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, we'll have to wait and find out. Mori Jin. So Mori is still acting like his very goofy and immature self in this episode. Honestly though, that's just his character, so it didn't bug me too much. I'm not the biggest fan of it, mind you, but at the same time, you just gotta roll with it. And in terms of training, it wasn't too elaborated on. But it does look like he's getting training from the Miracle Doctor of the 6, which could be kind of interesting to see how that goes. Obviously, Mori is a very skilled fighter. He's very sort of aggressive. He can charge in and take on loads of enemies at once. He's a very strong and accomplished fighter. So, I mean, learning some kind of medical kind of remedies to help heal himself during a fight could be pretty interesting if that's the route they go down. Now, we do show that he has some results from his training in this episode when he managed to fix Mira's shoulder, so it does kind of show that he's able to kind of use acupressure a little bit, which is pretty cool. Hopefully, hold on a minute, he could use that on his opponents, which would be kind of cool. If he does that, he can just incapacitate anybody at any time. But then you want to keep that as like your secret move, so maybe not. Who knows? We'll have to see moving forward. Now the focus. So I mentioned that the focus was both the Six and Nox. And this episode kind of stuck to that really, really well. As the Six were shown to us, as we get a sneak peek and preview of each member of the Six in the form of like these cards. And the visuals representing each individual character was really good and great. I loved the kind of the shots we get to see of the characters with their nicknames. I think this was really creative, and it gives us a hint to the characters in terms of their design and what they could possibly be based around. Like we have the Magician, we have the Miracle Doctor, we have the Hulk, we have the Lone Shark. So it kind of gives us a little bit of a hint into what the abilities and what the powers could be of these characters, while also keeping that air of mystery about them. Because we don't get introduced to every single character personally, we just get like a 2-second shot of each character, then it does kind of leave you wondering, what's up with this character, I wonder? But yeah, that visual representation, for me, was just flawless. I really did appreciate that. But then we go to the episode where... Scrap that. But then we go to the focus of the episode where they go to Nox. And the mood and the vibe shifts into a more darker, intense feeling. As one member manages to take out Sim and Q. These two are not easy opponents to take out. As, you know, the stuff with Mori, we saw Q get very violent and very kind of threatening. He was trying to get very aggressive and very kind of serious with Mori when he was fighting him. So we know that Q is no pushover. And we see that from the talks and from the conversation with Mira, Sim has a lot of kind of knowledge about fighting and combat. Plus, he's probably not seen because he's blind, so I don't really want to say that, but he's witnessed a lot of different battles and a lot of different styles, so I'm sure he's able to pick up and hold his own in a decent fight. So to see that Q potentially is taken down and potentially Sim has been taken down by this one character does kind of set the level of how threatening Nox can be. And the Tai Jin versus Nox scene at the beginning was, again, another showcasing of just how powerful both Nox and Jin really are. Because we see Tai Jin basically flatten this like landscape with a kick. We see like the main member of Nox, who's wearing like a different color robe from everybody else, just brings down a sword that kind of reminds me of the sword of Damocles from Seven Kings. The Seven Kings. If you've ever seen that series, pretty decent. If not, go check it out. But, I mean, there's one thing that I was a little bit confused at that left me scratching my head a little bit. In the scene where the sword came down, wasn't Tai Jin missing an arm in the webtoon series? Or does the sword come down and then he loses his arm because of the sword? Maybe they'll clear it up in a future episode, but again, it leaves us in that suspense where it's like, oh, if one member can do this, then what can the rest of them do? So hopefully, Nox is no pushover and they continue to be a threat and they continue to build that tense and dreaded vibe that this episode kind of brought with it. I really did appreciate that vibe and that kind of shift in the mood, and it really did help set up Nox to be a realistically good and evil organization. But yeah, overall the focus was very effective and it worked really well in helping to move the story forward and building up Nox as a credible organization that could pose a threat to the characters that we know so far. I loved the comedic sections in this episode. Like the stuff with the nurses and the executives were really nice. It was a nice little added bonus that we get. We had one last week where the nurses were like, oh, here's an update on the tournament. And they did that again with like the updated kind of rules with the team format coming into play. And I really did appreciate that. It's really fun, really entertaining, and it seems more like a show, like a wrestling series, like, just it feels more commercial when they do things like that. And that kind of twist and that kind of change to the series, I don't mind it. It's pretty cool. It shows that the show is self-aware and like the public in the show is really interested. So, pretty decent. And Q just kind of going, oh, I'll smile all you like if you give me a raise. It's just how every employee wants to act, really. If every employee would be told, look, smile, you get a raise, they would be smiling from ear to ear. Really nice animation, really fluent and consistent all the way through. Nothing was terrible, even when they had that kind of crazy, like, mountain and terrain kind of breaking up and crumbling. I thought that was animated quite nicely. I didn't think there was anything kind of like too derpish, so to speak. And yeah, so basically the tournament is starting again now. We see some more crazy action, and hopefully it results in the group's training coming forward and being showcased in a very unique and talented way. And I just hope that the new characters can just kind of put up a decent fight as well. I don't want, like, say, we're building up these characters that aren't, like, the keys or the main three characters to be good fighters, and I'm hoping that they get given the screen time to show off the skills and their backstories that they can really do and accomplish. I think if they give it time, then they can really make this series a really good one, even with all the fights that they've got coming to fruition. But like always, I want to know what you think down in the comment section below. Let me know all of your thoughts on this episode. And if you think I've missed something super important, then please tell me. Let me know and we'll have a chat in the comments about it, and I'll give you my thoughts just in general. Hit like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more anime content on a weekly basis. Plus, I don't know, just let me know what your favorite martial art move is. Why not? If you can't think of anything about the episode to say, then let me know what your favorite martial art move actually is. That's some interesting question. I'll give you mine. I just really like a straightforward guard and punch. Because I just like the idea, whenever you see an anime series or you see an action film and they just kind of duck down, they guard the block and then they strike, I really do like it. It's simple, but super duper effective. Anyway, that's all from me. I hope you have an amazing day. Arigato, matane, goodbye. That last question was totally not scripted. Much like some of the thoughts I went off on there, but I think it all works. Matane.